when you texted that, Mike, and we were like talking about everything, all I could think of was, man, let's do the Scooby-Doo ending.
Yes. This is basically it's literally basically what happened.
Let's do the super fun and happy ending. Yeah. All right.
The white picket fence ending.
Yeah.
Well, hello there, and welcome to the Confused Breakfast. Do you remember the pure joy of a trip to the video rental store as a kid?
I do.
It's hard to beat the ease of the modern era streaming platforms where you don't even have to leave your couch, but there was something truly special about heading to Blockbuster, picking out a movie by hand, and grabbing a weird new plant species from the flower shop on your way home.
Right.
On this podcast, we revisit and dissect some of our favorite childhood movies from that magical era to see if they still move us the way they did as kids. I'm your host, Mike Schulte. Joining me, as always, two dudes who need a long, slow root canal. Sean Pryor and Age of Ends, how the heck are you?
God knows I do.
Do you?
Yeah.
I've heard you shouldn't. I heard that's bad. You don't want root canals.
Oh, okay.
You don't want them
I heard,
anymore.
I heard that's what the new bioscience is saying. You don't want that.
Well, it turns out root canals that we've been doing for 100 years are bad.
You got metal or dead stuff in your mouth. You got to get it out of there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just won't do anything with my mouth.
Cool.
Yeah. I just won't go see a dentist anymore
No.
because of this movie. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And we'd like to point out that because this is a musical, we're going to sing our comments for the rest of the thing.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
everything we say
we are.
And well, boys, on today's episode, we discuss a film adaptation.
Sledgehammer.
We're not going to do that. We are discussing a film adaptation that is based on a musical that is based on the original film. A movie that held the record for the most money ever spent by Warner Brothers at the time of its release. Many would agree that it's the best movie musical of all time. We're, of course, talking about 1986's Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah.
Well, dang it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for another nostalgic journey to the past with The Confused Breakfast. Sit back, relax, and enjoy wherever you are in the world. Take it away, boys.
Thank you, Lottie. We will take it away. If you are new to this podcast, we're reviewing Little Shop of Horrors scene by scene with a modern eye. And we are talking about the newer one. We'll get to that eventually.
Yeah.
But in order to do that properly, we got to talk about it with pure nostalgia. AJ, we're going to start with you. Tell us the first time you saw this movie and what your thoughts were about it.
This movie was a fever dream. When I finally first saw it. Apparently I kind of avoided this movie. I'm not sure why you guys could guess. But yeah. So, let's play some trivia. Why do you guys think I avoided this movie?
Musical.
Musical.
Well, no.
Because it had the word horror in it?
There we go.
We were so wrong. John Candy.
And then, why do you think I watched this movie?
John Candy.
Rick Moranis.
Rick Moranis.
Okay. So Rick Moranis... Ultimately, Rick Moranis defeated scary movies and musicals.
Yeah, because I thought to myself,
Gotcha.
there's no way that... Because I saw this before I saw something like Creepshow, And I thought to myself, there's no way that you have an actual horror movie with Rick Moranis in it.
You're gonna get a Ghostbusters.
He is
it's
literally...
kind of scary, but it's fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no. Rick Moranis is going to save this for me. And in the end... I was like, well, that's not what I thought it was. So long story short, guys, it's not that I dislike this movie, but I wasn't thinking I was like, musicals are for girls, and I'm just glad Rick Moranis is in this because Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. And that was all I really thought the whole time. Even some of the cameos didn't even process with me. They
Too
just,
young.
they just didn't register. So in the end, I thought it was kind of like tchotchke and over the top, and I was like, did they just film a play or something? There we go. And so I'm gonna give this a Ooh, gosh, I'm gonna give this a 4.95.
4.95. Sean, what about you, man?
I'm a John Candy completist. I love The Great Outdoors. Go check out our episode on that.
Ooh, good
I
one.
love I love Uncle Buck. Go check our episode on that. I had to complete the John Candy
Multiverse.
movie role, multiverse, but never got to this one. This is an NA for me.
Oh,
I ain't ever seen this thing.
Sean, I'd like to join that club with you. I'm an NA on this too. I think I cannot understand. I will talk much more at length about this later, but I cannot understand why I've never seen this movie because of the people that are in this.
Yeah.
Since you guys, go ahead. Sorry.
No, yeah. There's no way that I should not have seen this, and I know there are people out there listening right now that have not seen this, and it's just the musical thing for me. Like I do not do musicals. I don't want plays. I don't want people singing their lines when they can just talk it. I just avoided this one. I'm like, no, it's not for me, and so I had never seen it until today.
Honestly, I think the only reason that I did end up seeing it was truthfully because my mom was like, and why would my mom like this movie, Little Shop of Horrors?
Doesn't that make it worse if your mom likes it?
Well, but she would show it to me, right? Like, oh, Little Shop of Horrors. It's on.
Oh, look,
like,
John Candy.
Oh, look, it's got Rick Moranis and stuff, And then she'd say another name that I wouldn't
Christopher
know.
Guest.
And you're just
Okay.
like, oh, okay.
Yeah, sure.
But she would show it to me and be like, oh, Little Shop of Horrors. Oh, God, yeah,
And she'd sing the
love
songs
that
under
movie.
her
It's like,
breath.
oh, I was like, yeah. But that was why. That's probably a big catalyst,
Yep.
actually.
Well, the
for
reason
me.
you avoided it should have been the reason I shouldn't have avoided
Yeah.
Yes.
it. The
This is
horror in
a-
the title, Little Shop. I love horrors.
There's no singing in
What
horror.
the heck?
Yeah.
I love little shops. God.
Well, back to back, guys. We have an executive producer, Michael Guiliano, back to back. He
All right.
somehow finagled that.
Wow,
this
dude.
was his choice. He chose this movie. He says, this is one of those weird movies that was definitely always talked about during my childhood, but I can never really quite pin down the first time I saw it. I remember my mom showing it to us on VHS at one point, and I also remember it playing on TV occasionally. It was one of those movies I caught in scattered bits and pieces, not even necessarily in order, until I was able to piece together the whole thing by inferring what happened. I mostly just remember being confused by most of it all, and definitely a little freaked out after the first time I saw Tui chomp down on the dentist and start cackling like a maniac. Other than recognizing Steve Martin and Bill Murray, I don't remember too many other high points from watching this as a kid. Nostalgically, I'm going to be a 5.75.
Okay.
So with your 2 votes, fellas, that is pretty low. That is a 5.35.
Singer.
Yeah, it's definitely not at the bottom. We've had some worse.
We've had some stinkers.
Yeah, this is going to fall right in between Tremors and Grumpy Old Men. Nostalgically is where this has
Okay.
fallen. So we're going to add me and Sean into this now because we're going to talk about it
Yes.
modern day. It's important. We don't care about nostalgic ratings. We care about modern day ratings. So we got to talk to Sean about all the important details of the movie. Sean, what do you got about this thing, man?
Produced by David Geffen, screenplay by Howard Ashman, based on the original film by Roger Corman, based off of Charles B. Griffith's original screenplay, cinematography by Robert Painter, music by Miles Goodman, Howard Ashman, and Alan Menken, edited by John Gibson and Gillian Hushmeg. Directed by Frank Oz, who also did Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, Bowfinger, the Stepford Wives remake, and Indian in the Cupboard, which I hope we will cover one of these days.
Well, you know we will.
Cast: Rick Moranis, Ellen Green, Vincent Gardenia, Steve Martin, Levi Stubbs, Tishna Arnold, Michelle Weeks, Tasha Campbell, Jim Belushi, Bill Murray, Christopher Guest, and John Candy.
Johnny Cans.
Being one of the original producers of the off-Broadway, I don't know why I got me.
No,
I did-
that's for Johnny Cans. That's it from here on out.
Why did that
Thank
get
you.
me?
It
Why
got
did
me,
that
dude.
hit you guys? I was like,
Because we've never said that
That's
before.
a good point.
Being one of the original producers of the off-Broadway musical, David Geffen wanted to turn Little Shop of Horrors into a movie. Originally, the film was set to be produced by Steven Spielberg, with Martin Scorsese directing.
Instant Oscar.
Glot, glot, glot.
And then subsequently, John Landis was on board to direct.
Cool.
That all fell apart when the original author of the play, Charles B. Griffith, filed a lawsuit.
Wow.
After the dust was settled, however, Geffen approached Frank Oz to direct, who was just coming off of The Muppets Take Manhattan. Oz would rework the script slightly so it could be more easily translated to screen instead of a Broadway stage. Ellen Greene was cast as Audrey because she played the character in the play off Broadway. Cyndi Lauper and Barbra Streisand were considered, however. I think also Madonna was. Bill Murray
For the role of...
Audrey.
Okay.
Bill Murray improvised all his lines, and Steve Martin came up with several ideas for his character on set. It's just not a shock whatsoever.
No, it's not.
What you're saying? What?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Did you guys know this interesting fact about Bill Murray?
You know what? It's like that's the thing. It's like, yeah, wow, that's not interesting at all because I totally believe it.
If that were to be a TikTok video, that would just be that dumb. We fucking knew it.
Of course he improv'd it.
Do you even know Bill Murray? I actually don't.
No, you don't either.
Filming took place at the illustrious Pinewood Studios, as all the sets were built in their making good use of the budget and not having to rely on the unpredictable nature of nature or securing locations. Audrey 2 was a full puppet designed by Lyle Conway, who had done some Muppet movies with Frank Oz and The Dark Crystal. None of what you see on screen with Audrey 2 is green screen, even the mouth movements. Jeez. However, that large of a prop takes a lot of work just to operate, which made the footage not sync up with the lines or the songs. The filmmakers simply just filmed Audrey 2's scenes at a higher frame rate so they could be sped up or slowed down as the puppet needed to be. Audrey 2 also had to be operated with 60 people behind it. Little Shop of Horrors was released on December 19th, 1986, and on a budget of $25 million, the film made $39.0 million at the box office.
39.00.
It's usually points.
Million.
I've just become a habit.
Well, thanks, Sean. Up next, we got to go over to AJ. We got to learn what the critics and the fans thunk about this movie. What do you got, dude?
Feed me. It's not blood. It's the tomato meter. Gross. We got another certified fresh 91%.
Interestingly enough, of all the movies we've done, that is tied with Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. That feels about right to me, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Kind of the same, sort of.
It's kind of in a similar ballpark there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
You know, 79% from the audiences, and Little Shop of Horrors is a 7.1 on IMDb.
All the movies we've done, that is in the 80th spot at 7.1, tied with The Mummy, Spaceballs, Coming to America, Mrs. Doubtfire.
Just a little bit better than a movie.
It's like, well, you should see it.
Yeah.
You should go out of your way to probably see it.
A little nudge.
Yeah.
Go see it.
Yeah, if you see it that's on, you should see it.
That's like, yeah, you should probably go check it out at the theater. 7's like, wait for it to come out to DVD. Yeah. That's the difference between 7 and 7.1.
Yes. Critics' consensus on this was remixing Roger Corman's B movie by way of off-Broadway musical, Little Shop of Horrors, camp horror, and catchy tunes in equal measure, plus some inspired cameos by the likes of Steve Martin and Bill Murray. They will go on to say additional things if I can find them. Jesus. Okay.
AJ was just told us he was speeding down the highway, trying not to get pulled over while also screenshotting reviews.
But luckily, I wasn't screenshotting the reviews. That was on the way to.
Oh, yeah. Good.
No, leave me alone, Mike. God, Dad.
Don't want to talk about what I did.
Yes. Roger Ebert said that this is the kind of movies that cults are made of. And after Little Shop of Horror finishes its first run, I wouldn't be at all surprised to see it develop into a successor to Rocky Horror Picture Show as one of those movies that fans want to include in their lives. I think that's a nice little touch. And now I don't know that I've seen that happen, though.
No, I would agree with you.
Gene Siskel, might as well bring him up, too. They both gave it 88s, so that's 3 out of 4 thumbs, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
He said the songs are joyful and the plant is a foul-mouthed wonder when it begins to talk. Director Frank Oz deserves credit for staging a musical in classic form, creating nothing less than one of the year's most entertaining films. There's some bad ones, believe it or not. Empire just decided to say some of the slower tunes tend to grind, but the sort of musical retro irony is still amusing in places. But not if you don't like Dentist, though. Got him. Yeah. See what I did? Oh, that'll leave him wanting more, and then they'll have to go see it.
Dentist.
Dentist?
There's Dentist in
I
this
thought
movie?
this was a flower shop movie. Musical? I'm going to save that one. Let's see. Here we go. There's a 7 out of 10. Great songs and great cameos, said Crazy Artie. A musical in which an alien plant lands on Earth and is cared for by a loser. Seymour. This film is really enjoyable with great catchy songs and wonderful guest cameos. A cult movie that still works today.
Okay.
All right. Okay. All right. That sounds good. Let's just get to some fun. I wouldn't. Let's just do some 1 out of 10s. You know why you're here. Elk Bong 3.
Fuck yeah.
Said 1 out of 10. I would only see it again at gunpoint.
Come on.
Okay, ready? Oh yeah, it's a great ending. You'll never see it coming. A bad remake of a bad 1960 film. Somebody inexplicably decided that it would play better as a musical. It doesn't. A really weak plot about a carnivorous alien plant made all the worse by putting it into a musical form, thus treating us to Rick Moranis' singing ability, quote unquote. Far worse than the original for just awful acting performances, a miserable score, and laughable special effects. I would not even consider seeing this turkey again. What's what people call movies turkeys?
It's a turkey.
It's a turkey, bro.
It's not the same guy.
No.
So
It's not a
seeing this
turkey. It's a
turkey,
movie.
yeah. Thank you.
What's going on?
It's just no.
Yeah.
Unless somebody held a gun to my head or the head of a loved one and forced me to. Weird. Since this is unlikely, and I am thankfully done with any involvement with this pitiful failure of a film. 1 out of 10. Only because they won't register a 0.
There it is.
That?
It could have been one of like 3 things. Don't watch this movie.
Do not waste your time.
Oh, sorry.
Mike,
I was sleeping.
are you
Oh,
okay?
my God. From your amazing comment. You woke me up.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, yes.
I don't know if that's a comment on me or the review, but it's
Has
fine.
anyone ever said, I give it a 10 out of 10 only because I can't give it an 11?
Yeah,
Has
no.
anyone ever said that?
I think somebody has.
I don't think they have. I think only the negative people think in weird situations like that.
Hey, are you sure?
Listen.
What are these noises?
What
that
do we say? What do we say? Whenever you go on a scale of 1 to 10, that is what we all say.
Right.
We don't say on a scale from 0 to 10.
Yeah.
No one ever says that.
Scale of 1 to 10, what do you think? I
Yes.
think it's an 11.
I give it a 1.
God damn it, just follow
I
directions.
give it a 1 only because I can't say 0.
I give
Per
it a
your
0.
rules.
Okay, that's funny, but will you just actually give it a rating? Because we'd appreciate it. Yeah, it'd be fun if we could just move the fuck on.
Also, Mike, are you crying?
I think I yawned.
Are you sad?
I'm sad at that bad review.
He's just
Think
so-
about Rick Moranis reading this.
I
get
know,
sad.
right?
I get sad.
It's just bitch. Brett said on May 3rd, 2020.
He got that name?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, no, he got Brett 76260.
Okay.
But it's just Brett.
Yeah.
So he gave it a 1 out of 10, and he got pretty creative here, saying entitled "Little Shop of Turds."
Yep. Jesus Christ.
I like that way better than
Poop jokes.
I give it a 0 if I could. That's way better.
More like Little Shop of Turds.
Yeah, got him.
Little turd of horrors.
I really can't say much for the film progress made by this Little Shop of Horrors musical remake. The filmography, the casting, and the cameos even were a letdown. Little Shop of Turds. Yeah!
Okay. All right, what do you got to say?
Yeah! Well, Brett, he said, perhaps one of the lamest movies ever made. Yep, ever made.
You read me right.
I've had bowel movements provide more pleasure than watching this movie.
Hence the turds.
Got it.
Get it?
Call back. That's a good writing scheme right there. Yeah, that's good. Stupid is a huge understatement. Why this was ever made is beyond me. Ugh, what a waste of time. Quote unquote, feed me, feed me. I'll feed you a nice dose, turning the channel.
A nice dose of shut the hell up.
Yeah, got you. Here's the mute button.
Well, thanks, AJ.
You're welcome.
My boys, on the 21st day of the month of September, in an earlier year of an early decade not too long before our own, the human race suddenly encountered a deadly threat to its very existence. White males sitting around and recording their conversations because they think people will be interested.
Oh, no.
And this terrifying enemy surfaced, as such enemies often do, in the seemingly most innocent and unlikely of places. Spotify, Apple Podcast, CastBox,
Wherever
you
you
can find your podcast.
Any podcast, you can sue podcast.
Here we go. Again, I was on microdose when I wrote these, so I'm doing pretty good.
Constantly on microdose.
Doing pretty good, guys.
I think that microdose is eventually going to become like a regular dose, Mike, so you got to be careful.
5 of them is not micro.
Microdose.com. So scene 1, in the early 1960s, Seymour Crayborn and his coworker Audrey work at Mushnick's flower shop. Struggling from a lack of customers, Mr. Mushnick decides to close the store, but Audrey suggests he may have more success by displaying an unusual plant that Seymour owns. Immediately attracting a customer, Seymour explains he bought the plant, which he dubbed Audrey 2, from a Chinese flower shop during a solar eclipse. Guys, I have to start this off.
Okay.
So I got on there and I found it. And I'm like, okay, cool. I got it. And I found it and I hit play and I'm like, okay, I know there's multiple versions of this, but this is the one with Rick Moranis. Okay, cool. And I'm like, man, here are my notes. Ready? Starts off as a cartoon. This feels a lot like a play. I don't like plays. Why is he eating flowers? I watched 30 minutes of the original from 1960. Even though, and I went back out and I clicked on it. It says 1987, Rick Moranis. I click on it, and it starts the 1960 version plays.
Were you on Prime?
It was that where I don't know where I was. I should have wrote it down.
There's like several versions of that. That like they do that on purpose, I think, to confuse you, to like get you to watch that.
Did this happen to you?
This has happened to me to not for this specific movie, but I'm wondering what platform this happened to you on, because I went on and I watched, I just wanted to watch an episode of The Office.
Yeah.
And I clicked on The Office, and when it immediately started to play, the Indian version of The Office. In India, like everything. And I watched some of it. It was actually pretty damn funny.
Well,
however, it was not what I needed to watch a specific episode. And that's what happened. Why is it doing this?
This is the opposite for me, because this is bad. The 1960 version is really bad.
Well, especially when you're on microdose. This is really confusing.
And it's in black and white. I do not like it. It feels like a fucking play. I don't like anybody in it. And so when I finally, now 30 minutes of my night has been wasted. When I finally get the real version up, I'm starting in a really bad place. And so I'm just setting the scene that I'm in a bad mood.
Come on, man. Dick Miller's in the original.
Like, whatever. Like,
it didn't do it for me, bro.
Okay.
It didn't. I was
You're just
not
set up for failure.
I'm just like, when does Rick Moranis come in? I thought he was Seymour. Who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
So I'm just setting the tone that this was my experience to start watching this movie for the first time.
I get you. Okay.
Yeah.
I have to say I do like the 3 singers.
Dude, they're awesome.
They kind of are getting you along in the story. They're basically like the narrators.
kind of like a narration, yeah.
I like that aspect of it a lot. And then you just get the absolutely stunning sets in this movie.
Dude.
Are insane to look at. And this is all Pinewood. This is actually, they filmed all this in the 007 specifically,
which is like
studio.
the largest like on-site studio or something like that in the world.
The biggest one they have at Pinewood, yeah. And it looks incredible.
Well, I want to touch on both of those. It looks absolutely incredible. The set is great. I love the town. I wrote that in my notes. But the interesting thing about the chorus, I guess you'd call them, is that they're almost 2 different entities. They are the real people in the real world that can interact with people, and then they are the shiny singing stars that no one can hear.
Right.
But dude, they do such a good job of that when they're singing as the chorus. They're not in the real world, so even when they're outside getting rained on, they're not wet.
Right.
That's
and they like went through the process of making them not get wet to show that they're not really there.
They made them omniscient and then non-omniscient. You know, it's really cool.
Dude,
touch.
and did you catch that little trick they played? I had to rewind it a couple times to be like, wait a minute. The three girls are in their street clothes and they're interacting on the street and they're walking away like yelling at the store owner or whatever. Then it cuts to the alley. That lady walks down the alley singing, and one of the three girls is now in her singing outfit to the right side. She left on the left side in street clothes, and she's on the right side in her singing outfit. I was like, there's no way they could have changed that. And just the creative trick that they did was that last shot, they showed the three girls, but the one girl was like, you could only see this much of her. So it was obviously a stand-in, a stunt double, because the other one was already like dressed up in her regular clothes, ready to get. Like that's what I love so much about this podcast. I never studied that kind of stuff like you did, where you're like, okay, and how did they frame this shot? I just watched the movie. But nowadays I'm looking at those. How did they do that? How did they accomplish that to make this happen? And I think right from the start they set the tone of this movie like. Fuck.
They use a lot of that like stage play trickery. That's almost what that would be. Is you hide someone behind a wall that's a set for seeing it on stage. And they would probably do that, but with a camera, you're seeing everything, and it's more controlled, I guess. So you can kind of fake a lot more than you can, but still, it's still tricky.
Yeah.
If you want to do everything in one, like he wants to do it like that.
It adds a lot more when he gets to be able to frame and block and do it the way he wants, and you have the flexibility of playing what was essentially like a set, or like a stage production.
Feels
set.
like a play.
Yeah, and I do like this. I do like that aspect of it. But there's also the point. Like I find myself whenever I watch a movie like this, okay, it will take me a good solid 15 minutes to let this stuff like kind of wash over me, so that way I can understand the tone of it. Okay, this is not going to be a movie trying to be real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like a performance. It's characters. They are playing characters as if you're playing a character on a stage.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And that's one of those things that I have to take some time to get past when I see a movie like this, because I don't know why. I think I can't surrender that easy. I don't know what it is as a viewer. I just can't surrender that easy.
I get what you mean, but it is just like it's a musical.
But you have to.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's tough for me.
That's like the tone, I feel like, anyway. That like all musicals are trying to get you to come across or get you to realize is that it's a musical. None of this is like really happening.
Yeah.
But it is happening. Say that this whole performance of this song was just one conversation if it was a regular movie.
Yeah.
But we're just singing it.
Yeah.
And everything's blown out of proportion and very colorful and everything,
Right. Like I was telling you guys, I think during a Patreon, that it was a Patreon. What's up, Patreon? Oh, so anyways, I won't.
Patreon.com/confusedbreakfast. If you want more.
If you want more,
support this
you can
podcast.
go hear that conversation. But I was telling you guys that my cousin's in like the national like trek of Hairspray. So if you see that, if it's coming through your town, check it out. My cousin Sarah is playing one of the characters in that play, one of the leads, and she was talking about this, and she's like, if I'm in a play, I'm generally somebody who wants to be, based in reality or kind of grounded in some sort of reality, whereas there might be other actors or actresses that take theirs to that elevated caricature level, and sometimes one way works for a specific character and other times it doesn't. And in this, I think we're getting every aspect of everyone's kind of yucking it up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So then that's going to break me out a lot faster.
Yeah.
Than if Rick Moranis was still very like grounded.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
There's a beautiful moment where, like, first of all, if everybody, everybody's all down on their luck in Skid Row, right? Like, we just can't catch a break. If they would spend the amount of time they spend learning choreographed songs and movements, if they would just spend that on like getting jobs and like cleaning the place up, I think they'd be okay.
Yeah.
But I love, dude, the whimsical nature of this type of stuff that they really play on. Like Rick Moranis is in the streets, they're singing songs, and he walks up and there's these 4 guys like against a light pole, like
Yeah.
and he feels like compelled. He's like, oh well, I have to.
I should
hold
join
on, I should. And he has this compelling moment to be like, well, yeah, it's guys snapping and thrusting. Like I have to do it.
This couldn't have been planned. I suppose I should join.
Those are the moments that make you break out faster. When you're like, oh, duh.
Okay.
I don't know
Yeah.
you guys, but
Do you care if I?
can I join you?
You care if I get in?
How do you feel if I partake? It's like,
Oh, come on in.
It's so good. Those are the moments I love most about this type of stuff.
by the way, Michael, Chinese flower shop is not the preferred nomenclature. Please,
Asian American.
Asian American flower
Amen.
shop.
I'm just reading the script here.
Okay.
Chinese flower shop.
Is Audrey every male fantasy out there?
Do you think so?
It's like they're trying for it to be that way, like this pixie blonde girl who only talks like this and is so innocent. What do you guys like? It
You mean? I think. Do you mean playing on the idea of what is presumed every male's fantasy?
maybe it is playing on that.
You know,
but
it's like
but it's also like I'm done watching this character.
okay.
Like nowadays,
I will tell you this.
Okay, gotcha.
I know what you're talking about because yes, it's again, it's an elevated character. It's a caricature. Like that's what I call that, right? Like you're not doing a character, you're doing a caricature. Like there's a difference, and she is definitely doing this like kind of in spades, and it is a little bit. I think right off the bat, it's another thing that I have to get used to. But then once she starts singing later on, I'm just like,
Got it.
done.
Yep.
Let's go.
Maybe what you're saying, Sean, the idea of that, the male fantasy of like the perfect woman that no one else knows about.
that needs saved.
Oh,
like
yeah.
like
Okay.
she's in a position where no one else will ever find her there.
Yeah, and she can't do anything about her position.
Yes.
Why?
Yeah, I know. And she
That's the thing.
even says some weird things like I've done terrible things in my life. Like, well, this is the story I want to hear. Like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Why? What have you done?
Is every time she shows up again with like another shiner or anything like that, I'm like, I'm beginning to think you like this.
Yeah. You're the one who's bringing the handcuffs. Okay.
And Jade, no, his hand.
And I don't,
this time.
and that's not a problem. If you're into what you're into, that's
You do
great.
you.
We can talk about that all day long if we want.
I think she's absolutely incredible in this role, though.
I
Like,
agree with AJ. Once she is
when she sings,
her
'cause every
performance is outstanding. I just don't like the character.
yes, can we establish? Did everyone sing their parts in this movie?
I think
I didn't
Rick
find
Moranis,
anything that said that there was anyone like singing voice of this person. I
Steve
think
Martin
everyone
definitely was.
Yeah. She's got an incredible voice.
Yeah.
And the range of what she will do when she sings is
Yeah.
like, wow,
Her,
you got me.
especially her like facial reactions and
Yes.
Suddenly Seymour especially, them two together was just like I feel this.
Yeah.
Like I totally get where you're coming from right here.
Yeah, and there's those moments with Rick Moranis too that he does get a chance to eventually belt some notes, and you're like, you know
Yeah.
what? It's
I
a
disagree with that
wonderful-
guy.
What-
Talking about Rick Moranis being like, oh, his perceived.
Oh, yeah, his
I
perceived-
actually, I think
He's great.
I think he's in for. He's not going to cut an album that I'm going to
No.
listen to. But when you're talking about a musical, this man is exactly what I want. In a
That
Yeah.
guy could have been in any Disney musical animation, hands down, to be any sort of like strong support or even a main character in any of those Disney animated films.
Yeah.
Like 100%. I truly believe that because when he really gets going, and then he's even got that tone that's can be kind of fun, you know,
Yeah.
and it doesn't have to be perfect.
I
but
could say this, but I'm going to sing it instead.
Exactly.
Like
that exactly. I'm gonna say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. And then he gets those shining moments though that are really wonderful.
In Mr. Mushnick's shop, I like how they dressed it down, you know. But I'm just like, if you wanted to, like, this place looks pretty dead for being a shop that's known to have things that are alive in it.
There's nothing. There's no flowers in there.
Clean it up. Yeah, I don't see any.
In fact, at the beginning, I don't think there's a single flower actually in there.
Don't like they're all in the basement. That doesn't seem like a good place for photosynthesis.
Photosynthesis.
Did you say photosynthesis on purpose?
I don't know.
Okay, because I wish you did because
that actually makes more sense.
But yeah, you're right. There's no sun that's gonna cause that, like down in that dank ass basement. Yeah, I agree. It's like, well, you guys don't know what you're doing, do you? You don't know anything of what you're doing.
But I do love Christopher Guest comes in,
Dude.
and he's, excuse me, I couldn't help but notice a strange and interesting plant in the window. He's 100% an NPC.
Oh yeah,
I don't care who you are.
Oh yeah, like if tomorrow he's gonna walk in and do the same thing.
Yes.
Right. Like
didn't I
that's
deja? No,
no.
you're just a fake person.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
These are one of the many moments that make me laugh in this movie, like
Yes.
out loud. His short but sweet cameo is just incredible. Tell me where you found such an
Yes.
interesting plant.
Yeah, and it's such a brilliant little like transition of mood.
Story.
Yeah, because he comes through and they're like, I mean, honestly, it's a fascinating and interesting plan. We can just put it right in there. There's no way that just putting a fascinating and interesting plan onto the windowsill is going to help bring in customers.
Ding.
Ding. Excuse me.
I
I just
noticed-
couldn't help. I was passing by. I couldn't help notice this fascinating, interesting plant that you have sitting in the windowsill. Can you tell me about it? He's like, and he tells the story of like getting
Yep,
at the
yep.
job, and he's like, "Man, what an interesting story." And he goes, like, "While I'm here,
Get a dozen roses, please.
can I buy $50 worth of roses?" And he's like, $50? He's like, "Yeah, can you break 100?" Well, then it's like, "No, I can't." He's like, "Well, then I guess I'll just have to buy twice as many." It's like, that's fucking
And
hilarious.
it's such a dumb idea that people are coming in because of the plant. Aren't they going to inquire to buy the plant?
I know, right?
But nobody
True.
ever does.
No.
They're always like, "Wow, cool plant. What else can I buy?"
Yeah.
It's just a dumb, stupid idea, but
Again.
that goes with the magical
Yes.
nature.
It's over the
Yeah.
top, but it knows it's over the top.
Yes.
Yeah.
To drive them in just for business or just to drive traffic, not to buy the plant. Like, that's literally
Yeah.
what they even said.
Can I buy one of these? Like, actually, it's a one of a kind thing. Well, can I buy that one? I'm a millionaire. Actually, no.
No.
I have no reason you can't.
Yeah.
But, no.
There's no reason you can't, but there's also no. So,
Well, let's move on to scene 2. So the plant brings much business to Mushnick's shop, but soon starts to wither. Seymour accidentally pricks his finger and discovers that Audrey 2 needs human blood to thrive. Audrey 2 begins to grow rapidly, making Seymour a local celebrity. Meanwhile, Audrey suffers at the hands of her sadistic biker boyfriend, Oren Scrivello. However, she has feelings for Seymour and secretly dreams of running off with him to the suburbs. Guys, it's time to talk about the man, John Candy.
Yeah. Okay.
Before we get
Johnny
into talking
Cans.
about him, Johnny Cans, this takes him into 8 movies that we have done. That is a firm hold on number 1.
Top. Tippy top.
And the crazy thing is we still have more to do. There's still a lot more that we can keep bringing to the table. But
You're one of your favorites, Summer Rental.
Summer
We'll get
Rental.
to it.
I
I
know.
wonder if that'll happen in the summer.
I
and you
wonder.
never know.
Yeah. But him
You don't.
this short ass cameo again
Yeah.
of like, you don't need this.
Yeah.
You didn't need Christopher Guest. You don't need John Candy. But they're coming on screen, and that is the amazingness of these. That's how you know an incredible actor.
Mm-hmm.
Someone that can literally be there for 30 seconds, 60 seconds in a movie and make a memorable part about it. The fact that he's playing every character in the radio station, where he's the voice at first, who then introduces someone to do the weather, who's him.
Yes.
Who then introduces Weird Wild Wink Wilkinson, who is him. And he's not actually changing his voice or anything. He's just changing the character that he is.
Yeah.
This might be one of the best parts of the movie.
It's
just this scene, right?
Just to let him go and just do what he was going to do. I mean, I think they offered him a bigger part of this
They
movie.
offered him Mushnick.
Yeah. That's right.
Oh,
Yeah. They
my
offered him
God.
Mushnick, and he said, "I don't want to do that."
No.
And then he kind of came back and just said, "Like, do you have a small part I could do? I'd like to just do a small part." You
He's
know,
perfect.
And you know what? That might
Let
be
me
some
play
of
your
the best.
intro music.
Yeah. Let me intro you. It's like, oh, yeah, no, well, Wild Wilkinson here. He's like, man, I got a crick in my neck. It's like, oh, that's better. Anyways,
Just all these bells and whistles.
Yeah.
Like he's got so much energy.
It's so bad. It's so good.
I love it. I love it when Seymour walks in and he just like kind of looks up at him and he's just like, no, ma'am, you can't do that. No. What are you doing? With your clothes off? What if your husband finds them? I am here, by the way, and I am mad. He's like, I'm gonna kill you both. Like, what is going on? And it just makes me think: was this radio shows back at this time?
It kind of is.
Because if that's the case, I'm gonna go back in time, just be a radio personality. I'm all for it, guys.
I'd like before this, we discover that Tui needs blood in order to survive, and it's just like the animatronics of the puppet itself, the glorified Brussels sprout that it is.
Yeah.
It's just like I'm like, I think that plant wants something else. Right?
That's
You guys know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean a kiss.
Oh,
Kiss. That's it. That's all.
Well,
Yes.
he was the plant was going for that lady's butt.
yeah.
Like directly to the butthole. Like, I mean,
That one, Tui eats ass.
I wasn't gonna say it. I was hoping one of you guys would say it.
And
here
you
for
got
you.
to.
I'm
I'm
here
here
for
to say you got to.
You got
okay? Get it in there. All right? We talked about the other one before. Go down
Craig,
a little bit. Get in there.
Craig, come in here. You don't have to. Like, it's only if you want to. You don't have to. Okay. You
Back.
don't,
Come
you
back.
don't have to.
Do it. Just do it.
AJ. John Cans.
He was trying to eat our ass.
It's good. It's fun.
And you know what? It's to each their own. We're not here to yuck anyone's yum. We're just here to enjoy this movie.
We're not telling you what to do.
Yeah.
But we're not telling you what not
to do.
Oh, yeah. Try it.
do.
Wait. Okay. Well, anyways, we find out that Tui just enjoys eating anything that has to do with, well, blood.
Yes. Yes.
Does Audrey show up in a fishnet cast?
Yes, she does.
With
It's
her-
a fashionable cast, right?
Yeah. I'm just like, at this point, like, I'm to my point earlier, I'm like, you're into some freaky shit. Well, you can just admit it.
You can
It's
just
fine.
admit it. We're cool with it.
Yeah.
But maybe at the era, people weren't. People are still
True.
two single beds.
True,
You know,
yeah,
and
yeah.
Her
Yeah.
dreams involve two single beds.
That's
so,
true.
Yeah.
So you just don't want to be openly admitting of that stuff.
Right.
guess.
You don't talk about it out there.
Just feel bad for her. I think she needs to break out of her shell.
Yeah.
There's a really cool subtle thing I'm wondering if you guys found. So when Seymour tells his story when he first found the plant,
Yeah.
he's like, well, it happened. I was visiting a Chinese flower shop, and this underlying music comes in, and the Dadu song, Dadu,
Yeah.
that song starts to do the playback of his story. Well, and then I was walking over here. When he goes on the radio, he's like, tell me where you found that plant. And he goes, well, so I was going to I was going to a Chinese flower shop. The same music comes under, and he goes, Dadu, and then the scene cuts.
Yeah. I love
Basically
that.
implying that the song was going to get sung again, which I just love that they're implying. Yeah, when we tell this story, this song gets sung.
Yeah, that's cool.
You know, it's just a very subtle way of making cool little moments happen in that
I
movie.
mean, Frank Oz is no fucking slouch here either. Like,
Sure.
especially doing this in Pinewood Studios, and a lot of times you watch musicals. A lot of times there's a lot of oneers, and I think he does that quite a bit too. But even like choosing to cut that right there is like, if you're paying attention, that's going to be a funny joke for you, you know. Or even in
But if you're not, we've moved on.
yeah, even in Mushnick's when it's kind of the rundown part
Yep.
before he discovers Audrey too, there's like jump cuts going on.
Where they change positions.
Yeah, where they're just kind of hanging out waiting for somebody. I'm like, I love those
do
little
too.
touches. You
Yeah,
know?
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
And just they sing the song. I think this is when Audrey, is this the Suddenly Seymour song maybe, where they're talking about she's dreaming of the future.
Yeah.
And she's like, we can watch Lucy on our big enormous 12-inch screen. And I'm thinking out loud about how funny of a joke this is in 1986.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that they couldn't even fathom what this joke is nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
It was funny in 1986 or whatever.
Think about those massive freaking TVs that weighed like 400 pounds, and they were like
so funny.
It's like a full cabinet thing that, and oh man,
where you had to be sitting directly in front of it to actually see what's happening.
Yes,
move 2 feet to the right, and you can't even see what's
like
happening.
Half
anymore.
it's blurring out on you, or like darkening out.
We need to make TVs where you can also put shit on them.
Oh yeah,
we don't have that anymore, man.
We need like get some drawers in there.
Yeah,
put your remotes in and stuff.
Why make them get a separate console? We could just build the console into the TV.
The thing is, it's gonna weigh 500 pounds.
Well,
we'll figure it out. They'll want it anyway.
They're gonna want it. They're gonna want it.
Retail,
bigger is
baby.
better.
Come on.
Okay, bigger is better.
Which leads me to Steve Martin. Steve Martin comes in this movie, and throughout this movie, I like it until it gets to a song, to be honest. Like, I like South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut until it gets to a musical spot. Some of the performances during the musical stuff, like we said, are great. I do enjoy that. I'm not, an evil person who just hates joy. But when Steve Martin comes in, he lights a fucking fire under this movie.
I
even
agree.
more so than Johnny Cans, to be honest. Like, he steals this movie right out from everyone's feet.
Yeah,
and there's no going back. Like, when he's gone, it's honestly not as good of a movie.
Yeah.
Do you guys? Here's something absolutely crazy that I'm almost ashamed of it. I forgot Steve Martin was in this movie until my first rewatch again.
Wow.
At this point, that's what I mean too.
I'm glad for you.
By honestly, the cameos just went over my head. I mean, he didn't.
You don't know who Steve Martin is.
I didn't know who Steve Martin was. And by the way, if I did know who Steve Martin is, he didn't have that color of hair.
Yeah.
He's only ever had white hair, okay, at any age he's ever been.
Steve Martin, can you play a 32-year-old father? Yep. Well, gray hair, right? Yep.
Yeah.
You're 32.
Yeah, you're 32.
Yeah, you're old.
Yeah. It's like, well, you have to look 32. Well,
Okay.
I had white hair when I was 32. So, like,
it's just insane, man. Like, his comes in on the motorbike, and everything that he does, like, I love causing pain to and he punches the chick or whatever. It's incredible.
And like, he comes off of that motorcycle, he rips up, basically takes off the jacket, and then he's like, become a dentist, and you're just like, what?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, it's obnoxious, but man, is that fun.
I'll call back to this in a little bit. I have a little segment here, but the idea of him, like, whenever he pulls up on the motorcycle, he just jumps off and it just goes and it just parks itself. Unreal. And the terrible, like, green screening of him head on the motorcycle when we first see him. Dude, let's move on to scene 3, because that's where we can really talk about this Dennis scene. So, scene 3, Seymour continues to feed Audrey to his own blood, draining his energy. He attempts to ask Audrey out, but she turns him down because she has a date with Orrin, who's revealed to be a dentist. Audrey, too, begins to talk to Seymour, demanding more blood than Seymour can give, suggesting that Seymour murders someone to bring him fame and fortune. Seymour initially refuses, but eventually agrees after he witnesses Orrin abusing Audrey. So Steve Martin's introduced here, and we only know him as just this kind of sadistic biker boyfriend. And we'll get to that amazing dentist scene. But, like, I just, you're right. Like, as he gets into this movie, you're like, I want more Steve Martin. Mm-hmm. And then he kind of disappears for a little bit, and we're going to get it. But I agree with you, Sean. Like, every time, like, I'm very into this movie, and I'm just like, oh, this is fucking awesome. And then a song will start, and you're just like, and even these are better songs than the majority of musicals out there, in my opinion.
Yes, they are. And, like, I think the problem with musicals, for me anyway, is that musical songs within the musical movie are so long.
Yes.
They're like hymnals.
Yes.
Like, they just drag on. And I'm like, I like it for the first minute to 2 minutes. And I'm like, this is great. I love the tune. I love, the melodies that they're creating with this. But then after the 2 minute mark, I'm like, all right.
Yep.
All right, can we get back to more Audrey 2, please, or whatever,
Yeah.
I don't know. I hate that I'm like that, because I really enjoy it until then.
It's hard to invest in it when it's not in your face on a stage. Like, because I don't mind going to, I enjoy going to musicals. I found that, like, as I've gotten older, I do enjoy going to musicals, like, on stage and watching a good production, but at the same time, there's something about it that's very hard for me to stay invested when it's just on a screen.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, it's
The art of it is kind of gone because it's a movie.
yeah.
But when you're on stage, you're watching it happen. In
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
in
the thing
real
about
life, I mean,
Yeah.
it's all like the stuff is all it's consistent big oneers.
Yes.
that you're obviously invested
Where
in.
and then like in that aspect, the only thing I take away from a film musical is the technical achievements, where it's just like they film the shit out of this, and it's brilliantly directed. But that's all I'm thinking about. I've stopped thinking about the song, you know, and I'm just thinking about like the staging of this, or like the pacing of this, or you know, where this actor's got to be, where this actor's got to be, and they intercross or whatever. I'm just thinking about the technical aspect rather than the story anymore, because I'm gone.
Now there's a song.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this movie though, for real, these are some of the better music, because musical songs are just like pointless. They're just like, well, here's the dialogue, so I just need to add it to a song into song form.
Yeah.
That's what a musical feels like to me. But this, like, these are legit songs, and I love like the Motown feel of it.
Yeah, definitely.
And every singer is just like the three girls as the chorus. Man, they are incredible. But again, like it just I keep having this like I love this movie. All right.
Yeah.
I think I really liked it. Okay, like and it just seems like it just keeps happening too throughout this whole movie.
One thing I read about one of those girls is they needed older looking trash cans for the set, and she took it upon herself. She got new ones, like, and then put them in the back of a truck, like went through New York or something like that, and asked people if like she could take their old trashy looking trash
Here's a new
can
one.
and give them a new one. I'm like, that's fucking great.
That is really cool.
I love that story.
I did hear another funny story, just behind the scenes stuff, that as part of the film's promotion, the Audrey 2 plant was occasionally interviewed,
Oh, cool.
like in character by the press, right? And
Like with Levi Strauss doing it.
it was like whoever. It was,
Stubbs. Thank
yeah,
you.
and anybody who would who would want to interview it, they'd let him interview the plant, and he would do the voice.
Okay.
And I guess on multiple occasions, it would always end with him eating the reporter, which is just genius stuff. I don't know how. Like, did this movie? What did you say? Like, it actually performed. It made its money back and some,
Yeah.
but was this a critical success?
I mean, from the sounds of it, for the Rotten Tomatoes, critics loved it.
Okay, so like, did the studio go, oh yeah, like yeah, we?
I think so. There was a lot of other media produced after this, just like TV shows and comics did well. There was going to be a sequel, but I don't think they did it. I mean, I guess maybe they didn't get enough back from what they projected or wanted, because like you said in the beginning, this was like one of the most, it was MGM's or Warner Brothers.
This was their Warner Brothers' most expensive
and like
film of the time.
right next door was Aliens, which was like the second most, but like it dwarfed Aliens, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know the critics liked it, but maybe they just were satisfied enough with the numbers.
Crazy.
And it is. I mean, we do need to talk about how great Audrey 2 looks.
Yeah.
I was fully not expecting how incredibly stand up, like this holds up. The movements, the way they filmed it, the way it interacts, like this is an achievement for them to have been able to do this. This could have been so bad if they had not actually made this plant and had all those people working.
It's crazy, man. The lips moving, and it looks like it's, you know, it looks like you could read its lips.
Yeah.
From just looking at it and not even hearing what it's saying.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically people from Jim Henson's, you know, puppeteering and all that. And I think one of the main people was his son.
Oh, yeah.
Like, was Jim Henson's son, who was a part of this crew, who was like one of the main puppeteers, like actively doing this during production. And
good pedigree.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I also read Heather Henson, Jim's daughter, was the girl with the dental stuff that came out of the office. That was Jim Henson's daughter, apparently.
Oh, jeez.
Jeez, man.
Good Lord.
Family affair.
Yeah, and so I mean, even the talking aspect, like this is when Audrey 2 starts talking, and this is when I feel like it really starts to take more of that. It seemed kind of lighthearted, like just this cute little plan and helping us do stuff, and now it's like this is when it becomes more of like of an evil entity, right? Where this starts to become that part. He's like, you should. I'll give you whatever you want. You just go murder that Orin guy.
Fresh
you know?
meat. Yeah.
And there are some thoughts out there. I won't dive into it because it's pretty crazy. But there are thoughts that this is a representation of Seymour's like psychology, like his id, his ego, his superego, the plan is part of it, and because it changes as he changes throughout the movie. But I think that's a little.
Maybe
telling him to kind of break out of what he's doing so he can move on, so he can get with Audrey. This is what you got to do.
It's a fun way to look at it, but I think it's a little too deep, probably. Like this is a plant.
It's Rick Moranis.
It's Rick Moranis. It's a plant. It's
okay.
fine.
It's fine.
Well, let's move on to scene 4 then. So after Orin finishes with his masochistic patient, Arthur Denton, Seymour draws a revolver on Orin, but Orin dies before he can shoot him. Seymour dismembers Orin's body and feeds it to Audrey II, which has grown to enormous size, but is unknowingly witnessed by Mushnick, who confronts Seymour, but is killed by the plant.
Okay, so Bill Murray.
Bill Murray
comes in and
once again forgot he was in this.
Yeah, and it is just also turned on by Steve Martin.
Yeah.
I love their dynamics. So I love it so much that I want the movie to detour into them having a gay relationship.
I know.
I want to see this movie really bad.
Yeah.
Well, he was gonna come back, but then he died. Orin died.
That's true.
So do you think he was sad? He was gonna bring all his buddies back, and they were gonna have a good moment.
I think he fell in love with.
I think
Orin.
he did. I think he came.
Yeah,
I think so.
Is that implied?
Yeah, I think so.
Right?
Yeah, I think. I certainly think he did. He got everything he needed. He really enjoyed his time. And by the way, now I definitely know where Ryan Reynolds and Just Friends got the thing.
It's in my notes.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
It's in my. There's no way. There's. You're talking about when he's got the gauze in his mouth and he's pissed. He goes.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Bill Murray walked so Ryan Reynolds could run with bullshit in your mouth. Yes, 100%.
And I love that so much. The moment I saw that, I was like, yep. That was it. It was done.
In my notes, 1,000,000%. Like, just watch them side by side. Ryan Reynolds in Just Friends, Bill Murray in this when they're in the dentist chair spitting their gauze out.
And
internet, make it happen.
When Just Friends was coming out, that couldn't have been a technique they used anymore. So it had to have been.
Oh my God, you're absolutely right. I
Right?
remember that as a kid having like these big gauze packets in your mouth, but there's no way in. What was that? 2004 or 5?
Yeah.
That they would have still used that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Genius.
I also think it's incredibly funny that as Bill Murray is going into here and he's sitting down and he's kind of talking to him and you're getting that feeling and he's like, "Yes, doctor." Yes. And he's like sitting down, he's just
standing
like
on the chair.
He's like, "I've never needed a root canal so bad in my life," as he's packing in the stuff himself.
He's turning the light
and
on.
He's turning everything on. He's doing everything for them.
It sounds like he's been to the dentist like every day this week.
Yeah,
he's gone to
just like,
different dentists.
I've been to a different dentist and they were great, but unfortunately, it's just
No
like,
one's been better than you.
He's just prepping himself.
He's taking out these hideous looking tools. Like, oh my God, what's that? like anybody else, like, oh my God, what's that?
Yeah, and again, they're dynamic. I think it's honestly a tragedy. I need to go back and see how much more did we ever get of Bill Murray and Steve Martin.
I think this
in
is
movies,
their
man.
only thing up until now.
What a sad thing.
Yeah.
Ugh.
This is my Bill Murray. Like, I've never seen this. This might be my favorite Bill Murray.
I think I agree with you.
I don't know if he's ever been better than this scene.
Maybe small dose Bill Murray is like where it's at for me.
Well,
I don't know.
They did it. They got away with it too with small dose. Johnny Cans.
Yeah.
John Cans.
We just got him to do what he probably really wanted to do and was excited to do, and he had a great 6 minutes on screen, and then he was gone.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't, he literally said he didn't want to do Mushnick. He just wanted to do this.
Yeah.
He asked to do a smaller part, and then they do the same thing with Bill Murray, who gets to come in and do that. And honestly, it's kind of wow. It's not really Bill Murray doing
right.
this.
Yeah.
He's
He's actually
Bill Murray
actually
doing
playing
Bill
a
Murray,
character.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
He's doing a bit. He's doing.
I love
something.
it. And this was like one of his movie. I think we discussed on Scrooge. Before Scrooge, he was on like a break, but he did a few movies, like small parts. This is one of his small parts that he came in to do.
And obviously the feed me Seymour, feed. He says that at the end of Scrooged.
Oh, he
Did you know?
does?
And when they're playing the music, he goes, "Feed me Seymour, feed me."
Oh, he
At
does.
the very end of Scrooge, he says that.
Wow, I didn't notice that.
Which I had no clue what that
totally
even
forgot.
meant, and that was clearly a callback to this movie.
Yeah,
That's
Jeez.
cool.
I did the idea of this movie taking someone who kills puppies and cats for fun and saying that being a dentist is the profession for them. This song that he does is genius to me. And I actually texted my buddy Chris, who is a dentist, and I was like, "Hey man, just out of curiosity, when you were in dental school, did they ever show like clips of Little Shop of Horrors and Steve Martin?" He's like, every time there was a lecturer and a class something, they would show this scene. Like, because it's just funny to me. It's kind of like every real estate seminar I've ever gone to has been in American Beauty, has been, I will sell this house.
Oh, wow, okay.
They show that because it's the funniness of your profession coming through it. And I thought it was so funny that he's like, "Oh yeah."
My fiance just got accepted into dental school. Congrats, darling.
Woo! Yeah.
But I just watched this movie and she just found out and she didn't watch it with me. So I'm like, you have to see this scene.
Just this
You
scene.
have to see. And I showed it to her and she's like, well, it's funny because I've been having weird dreams about Steve Martin. And she's been watching that show that he's on, like a murder or something.
yeah, like murder. Hotel, something like that. Yeah,
With the
Murder in
other- with the
Hotel.
other guy.
Only Murders or something like that. Here,
she's been watching that show and she's been having some dreams about him. I'm like, oh, well, perfect. I showed you this. He's a dentist as well.
yeah,
Boom.
great. I just wrote
I
my
just
own.
helped you-
I'm
method.
over.
It
I'm
just helped
done.
you get through dental school.
Yeah.
Tell your professor that you saw this. It'll be fine.
There you go.
Ooh,
Oh.
here's a prop.
I hit the button. It is next to me, so I get to go first.
All right.
I want the dental tools that he does have. And now, do you know why?
I know why, yes.
You want to complete me?
No.
Okay. You complete me.
Thank you.
a weird ass.
Apparently the same tools during this scene were used in Batman
That's
1989.
right. Yeah.
The Jack Napier, after he fell in the chemicals, the guy holding up the tools were the exact same tools.
That's so cool.
That they had in this movie. So I didn't get to take those in Batman, so I want them now.
Okay.
Wait,
Yeah.
is that allowed? Are we allowing this, AJ?
Well,
Because he's
I'm
cross-platforming.
It's
props.
just I did this last week, I think, or 2 weeks ago. I did it with the teddy bear from Red Hot American Summer.
Red Hot American Summer. What movies are you watching? Like,
Little Cock of Horrors.
Did we
no.
Did we do what?
The Hunt for Red October.
The Hunt for
Remember?
Red
And,
Hot Summer.
Remember the teddy bear from the other movie from Die Hard? And
Yes, there's the one that
Con
Alec
Air?
Baldwin did.
This is my fun new segment where I'm like, it's
Are
a
we
prop.
allowing this?
It's a
Can
prop, but did you know this prop came from this movie?
Can he take from?
Nobody
Are
said
we
shit last
cross-platforming?
time.
No. Well, we didn't care last time. So.
Say your damn props.
Frick.
Son of a frick.
Steve Martin's jacket.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe the shrine of his mom,
Oh, yeah.
like in the back wall behind you, would be pretty awesome. I think that'd be a good prop. Just behind AJ in the camera.
What is that? It's like, well,
I want all of John Candy's props. Is
Yeah,
what I
there you
want.
go.
It's basically what I want, or just his microphone that he has, his radio casting.
You just want to
microphone.
use that as
so
your
I can
microphone?
have it as my microphone
that's
here.
great.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So
There was another. I don't know why it's all revolving around this. Probably because it's the best part of the movie. But Steve Martin, when he's spraying the water in the guy's mouth, they go and then he said, "Now spit." And he spits, and it switches to the water. This movie just goes better than others. Like it just tries harder and succeeds better than other movies
Sure.
do. In my opinion, when it comes to this, just the comedy aspect of that water coming out of his mouth into now water hitting the street.
Well, here's maybe an interesting question. If this was just a comedy and not a musical, would that sort of thing work for you? Like that kind of like a spit and it goes into the next scene.
It makes me want it to be less of a musical so that this could all just be a comedy. Like,
Yeah.
right?
Well, because I think in musicals you can get away with that a little bit more because of the fantastical element. But I would agree with you. I think I would like it if it was just a comedy as well.
When we were talking, I was talking about like Last Action Hero and like some other movies that have this.
Yeah.
They go beyond the fourth wall break, and it's like they're breaking another fifth wall or something. And I think if you're doing a musical, like that happens just by happenstance, because they're always singing, no matter what. Like one of their scenes, or like musical numbers, always ends with them just going. All right, well, anyways, I gotta go watch this. It's like,
I
it's
got
like
a scene to do.
they always like end up singing up to the sky. Like,
Yes.
who are we singing to? You know, they're singing to us. They're
Yes,
breaking
they
the
are.
wall, man. And like, that's why they break out into musical numbers. That's why they have like three amazing vocalists that are essentially like narrators throughout this whole thing. And it's kind of this like fourth, fifth wall break thing that happens just by happenstance. And I love that. I love that aspect about it. I don't know. Like, and that's why I think like what you're saying, I think that's what helps make it okay how over the top these characters become.
Yeah.
You know, and especially the premise of the movie, obviously. I mean, you really have to bear down here. It's like, oh, he just found a outer
plant.
space plant
Yeah.
that starts eating people.
Forgot about that.
What you guys forget this? Or like, yeah, it's obnoxious.
I also love that Charles B. Griffith, I think, was the original guy who wrote the play to turn Roger Corman's movie into a play. I just love that he probably loved that movie so much that he saw so much more in it, because, you know, it's not a great movie. I think it's fun, but I love that aspect of like adapting that because you love it so
To
much.
like make it better.
And to turn it into something great like
Yeah.
this. You know, I really like that idea about it.
Well, before the last scene, we mentioned the Jarrett Layoff Confused Breakfast actor database. John Candy moving into first place with number 8. Two notables here, though. Rick Moranis and Bill Murray have now entered 5.
Okay.
So we've got one at 8. We've got John Candy at 8. We have Steve Buscemi, Rick to come in at 7.
Yeah.
We've got a bunch of 6s and we've got a bunch of 5s. So there's some competition here.
Some
One of the
wakes to be made.
All those ties need to break through in order for a Mount Rushmore, probably.
I think we need somebody's at least got to make it to 7.
We need to have like our first time before we create the graphic. We need a definitive like 4, right?
Yes, there needs
We
to
need
be
those ties to break.
Yes, you can't have all the 6s. Somebody's
Right.
got to jump out of those 5s and 6s.
And can we say Mount Breakfast instead?
Yes.
breakfast more?
Yeah.
Just Mount Breakfast.
Mount breakfast.
Not breakfast.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, final scene here. Scene 5. Offered money and a contract for a botany TV show, Seymour becomes overwhelmed and decides to escape Skid Row with Audrey. While Seymour's gone, the plant telephones Audrey, coaxes her into the shop, and attacks her. Seymour, returning in time to save Audrey, and kills Audrey too before they arrive at their new home and life in the suburbs. I do want to mention one thing, and this is going to be canon. I couldn't find anything to justify this. I'm going to go ahead and say that David Wayne and all the boys from Wet Hot American Summer love this movie and incorporated aspects of it into Wet Hot American Summer.
Okay.
Go on.
There were 3 notable things for me. The motorcycle stuff, the ramping of the
yeah.
motorcycle,
Oh, yeah.
where he like ramps the motorcycle and throws it. Dude, but then listen, Audrey goes outside at this point and throws herself against a wall and
yeah.
just goes,
Yes.
I'm just going to
I
tell
was
you,
like, there's no reason for this.
there's no reason for this. And Seymour going, go away, leave me alone. Like that's a line directly from our boy, the cook.
Oh,
in
yeah.
Wet Hot American Summer. Go away, leave me alone.
Leave me alone.
I'm going to send it into the atmosphere and hope that it's real, that they took a lot of elements from this for Wet Hot American Summer.
Okay. I would even double down and say Trey Parker, Matt Stone as well.
Okay. Okay.
With, like Cannibal the Musical.
Ah,
you know.
yeah. Book of Mormon.
Yeah.
Yeah, all that stuff.
I think that this movie has to be an inspiration for a lot of creations. Like you said it about Bill Murray for Ryan Reynolds to run. I think this movie walked, so a lot of other things could
I like
definitely
it.
run.
Okay.
I think it had a bigger influence than most people might care to recognize.
And it's in that way of that being kind of underground. Like maybe not many people have seen it, so it feels like yours.
Yeah.
And you can be like, I'm gonna take inspiration from this because people haven't seen it, and hopefully that will inspire them.
This is my thing.
This is my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, what's your favorite band? Well, you probably haven't heard of them. They recorded a couple albums in early 2000. They broke up. And, But they're mine. They're my favorite band. Like that, sort of like that. What's your favorite movie? Little Shop of Horrors.
Well,
what?
It's like really? It's the musical
Really? Yeah.
Little
It's
Shop
my
of
favorite
Horrors.
movie. You've
That's your
probably
favorite?
never seen it.
I haven't really.
Yeah.
Actually.
Well, you should probably check it out. It's the best.
I should go watch it.
You
Well,
should
you
watch it
like
right
it because not a lot of people are checking it out. So
Yes.
should I check it out?
Oh wait, you're right. So if everybody watches it, then I won't like it anymore.
Yeah, because then it's
Okay.
mainstream.
No. Just whatever. Dumb and Dumber.
Forget I
Okay.
even said anything.
Yeah.
I do like the Suddenly Seymour thing, like especially their acting, like I said earlier, is really good together. But then Levi Stubbs as this voice and as this his talking voice and his singing voice is just utterly stunning. Like it's I couldn't see anybody else doing it. Maybe Tim Curry. I was thinking like Tim Curry could have fucking nailed this probably. But Levi Stubbs, he was in the Four Tops.
Yep.
Fucking great band.
Killed it.
I love him. I love hearing him in this. What do you guys think about him?
That mean green mother from outer space.
Yeah.
That's the song. It was written for this film, and it was the first Oscar-nominated song to contain profanity.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Wow.
To just put that into perspective of, they're basically saying this is the best song from this movie, and it's so good that we will allow it to be the first song ever to be nominated for an Oscar with profanity. Because he says, "Don't mean shit" at the very end of the song, and it's like, okay, just to throw it out there. That's how good this was.
Was that Hustle and Flow song? Did that have profanity in it?
It may have.
I mean, I'm not saying.
Yeah,
I'm not refuting you, but
that would have been after
I wonder
this,
if there's
though, right?
I wonder if there's another one.
I'm sure by now. Okay. Kendrick Lamar probably got nominated for an Oscar. Like he's my favorite, and there's a lot of profanity in that.
Yeah.
Can I ask you guys this? Audrey 2 does the payphone thing, which is oddly hilarious in itself. I don't know why, but does the whole pay. But I think actually what's really funny about it is when they're done, he like it takes the change out of the thing or something.
Oh yeah.
Takes the change
Yeah,
out of the
just to see if there's anything left
It,
over
like
there.
checks for it or something. Or like there's just
The alien plant is a cheapskate.
yeah,
That's ridiculous.
it's like, but makes the call, calls Audrey, and she it collects the it's the plant calling and talking to me. So you go over there?
You go over there.
Yeah.
You 100% go over there. Yes.
No. Like, what? What in the heck? Like that's the first thing that she does. She doesn't even really wait, or like she has no hesitation. Just walk right over there and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm just going to go look at the plant now."
It's true.
I have to ask. I texted you guys this. I'd be in such a weird position right now if I hadn't done my research for this movie to write the summary notes for this, because I watched the director's cut. I watched the director's cut.
Yeah.
Without knowing it. And so I watched it. I'm like, okay, that's the end of the movie. I understand it. Then when I was reading my notes, I was like, well, that's not what I remember. Well, I don't remember that. And I texted you. I'm like, what ending did you guys see? And you watched the theatrical release. And I'd like to have a conversation with you about why. First of all, so here's the story that I know. The original ending of the movie was what I saw, where she gets eaten by the plant. Mm-hmm. He comes over, he gets eaten by the plant, and then the plants take over the entire world and multiply.
Yeah.
And destroy the world.
People are buying up.
Everyone
all
buys the
Tui's.
plants. It goes everywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm watching this be like, this is fucking awesome. This is edgy. This is cool. But apparently they screened it and people hated it. They hated it so much that they went back and rewrote the end of the movie to be a happy ending. Mm-hmm. And have you seen both? Have you watched both?
Yeah, I did. I came across it as well. And after watching the theatrical, I watched it on YouTube,
Yes.
the alternate ending. I prefer it.
You prefer the one I saw?
Yes.
Because, and I hate that they changed it, because I think it makes the most sense. It's the commentary they're trying to make on the consumerism of it and cheating your way to fame and fortune. I'm really mad that was not what people saw and that they caved in and changed it.
Yeah, and then, like, on top of that, like, technically wise, all those effects are outstanding looking.
Dude.
Like, it's giant Tui's just attacking like Godzilla pretty much, you know? It looks fantastic.
And there's this moment that is like so sadly dark. Seymour dressed in his Sunday best, ready to get married to Audrey, who is in a white dress. Audrey has died, and Seymour carries her over the threshold in slow motion. The doors open in slow motion. There's Audrey, too, in the background. He carries her over the threshold like you would a married woman and feeds her to Audrey, too.
Wow.
Like,
Yeah. There's something about that, like, where we were hinting at darkness throughout the whole movie, like, especially of him pretty much being a, manslaughterer, if not a murderer. And then to go there would have been like, that makes sense to me because, well, you do need to pay for what you've done.
Yes, you do.
You know?
Yeah. Well, what was I gonna say? It's all I can think of in when you texted that, Mike, and we were like talking about everything. All I could think of was, man, let's do the Scooby-Doo ending.
Yes. That's basically that's literally basically what happened.
Let's do the super fun and happy ending. Yeah. All right.
The white picket fence ending.
Yeah.
God.
Like, that's all I could think of is like they just decided to change it, and that's what Wayne's World did.
And as much as I like it, it still knocks home the whole musical thing for me. The Mean Green Mother from Outer Space goes on so long.
Yeah.
It's such a long song. And then there's this another song while they're destroying the cities, like to end the movie. It's just like this secondary, super long musical song. And that is where, again, I'm like, I love this ending. But then I'm like, but they just keep singing songs.
Yeah. There's moments where like they even take breaks in some songs that the music still continues, but then they come back around to singing. You know what I mean?
True.
And it's like, oh man, I forgot that they were still in a musical number. Holy cow. Yeah, it gets along.
All right, boys. Well, we have dissected this movie with a modern eye. It is time to give it a modern day rating. Sean, I'm going to start with you, man.
Okay. Yeah, I like talking about this movie more than I did watching it. It's one of those movies for me where, like I said, all the technical aspect I like more than the movie itself. And what we've been talking about, like, I hate being this way. I want to like musicals more than I do. I really do, because I loved watching the technical aspect of this. But yeah, the songs just drag on a little too long for me, and it just drags the movie along way too long for me. I think Rick Moranis is amazing. Obviously, anything he does is just kind of gold. The whole cast is incredible. Steve Martin lights a fire under this. Like I said, Bill Murray's my favorite Bill Murray, like you said. But yeah, it just lacks a little bit for me in one aspect. What did the audience say about this on Rotten Tomatoes?
They were at 79%.
79.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm a little lower than them. I'm gonna go 7.1 on this.
7.1 for Sean. AJ, what about you, man?
I agree very much, actually. Like us talking about it, like I had a really fun time, like thinking through some of what was a lot of what was really going on screen. It's tough for me, like with a lot of the musical aspects, and I don't like to be that way. So I want to try to take a step back from that and just take for the understanding that the musical numbers were very good, though. And they're performed very well, and I love getting to see like Rick Moranis in this context. But it's one of those things that all the cameos, amazing cameos that came through in this, still can't quite save it up for me. You know what I mean? This is some of the greatest actors of the generation. You know what I mean? I mean, literally. So, do I enjoy it? Did I actually find myself really enjoying some of the music? Yeah, absolutely. But in the end, I have a really hard time every single time a musical number ended. We were back into kind of the caricature people that I was talking about in the beginning, and it was like having to restart rebuilding that, trust every single time.
We were rolling down the road, and then we went, ugh.
Okay, I got to get used to you again. So that all being said, it feels more like a long form skit that I watched on like Saturday Night Live or something. And in that regard, everyone is obviously amazing in it, but I still think I'm gonna have to go ahead and say I will give this a 7.77.
Let me just add one more thing. I think if I watched this with like a group of people, I would love this so much.
Yeah.
I think that's where this movie's meant to be seen, is kind of in a theater with a bunch of people who might even have seen it before and they know the songs. Like, I think it's a participation kind of thing, maybe kind of like Rocky Horror. I think that's where I would probably even raise my score a little bit if I watched it with a group of people.
I 100% agree. I'm glad you said that because I do think that's an important note. This is a community movie. It's tough to watch this by yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, you guys are spot on this. This is, I'm telling you right now that if you've not seen this, this is a must watch. Like, you should add this to your repertoire because of the performances. Like, this is one of the funniest, most important movies, I think, of the 80s. And I think you have to watch it. But it's just so unfortunate that it's a musical. It's like, it's because that, I think this could be like a 9 to 9.5 if this was not a musical. And I hate that because this is what's so hard about it. I love every one of these songs. The performances of the songs are incredible. I just don't like musicals, movies, and music.
Yeah.
Don't sing the words. Like, it's like, I'm trying to compare it to like Clue.
Sure.
I did too.
Dude,
yeah.
if Clue was a musical, it'd be the same thing for me.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
I was telling Craig before you guys got here, I think Clue, Rocky Horror, and this should be talked about, and like that'd be like a great triple feature.
It would be so good. So I would give this a much higher score, but I'm still going to give it a pretty high score because of how great it is. I'm going to be a 7.49 on this. So we got to go to Michael Guiliano. He says, okay, guys, I may have buried the lead a little with my nostalgic rating. I may not remember the first time I watched Little Shop of Horrors, but that doesn't mean that I forgot about it until now. I think it was during the Macy's Thanksgiving Parade, whatever year they did the Broadway revival of the stage musical. They did a quick song and dance number on TV, and I remember being blown away by how cool they made this giant talking plant look. That same year, my sister's grade wound up doing the play for their school musical, and she needed to watch the movie for research. Ever since then, I was hooked on this weird, funny show. It's been a little while since I rewatched it, but it's never too far from my head. From a technical standpoint, it's incredible. Frank Oz and his team of literal puppet masters figured out how to make this gigantic alien plant move and sing seamlessly to the music on film, which was no small task. Although if you know who Frank Oz is and what his background was, it makes sense why he was the perfect person to be pulling the strings behind this all. Rick Moranis is perfect casting for the role. I'm not sure who else at the time could have taken the part. The only other weird casting what if I could imagine is Michael J. Fox, and I don't think he can sing. But because Moranis fits the role of the charming, quirky, and not to be rude, not conventionally hot perfectly. Because Seymour is meant to be just an ordinary schlub, not a secret Trojan horse hot guy. Looking at you, Jonathan Groff.
Yeah.
I think the Bill Murray bit is a perfect example of what a cameo should be. Although an even more meta joke would be if they somehow got Jack Nicholson back to play the same role again.
That'd be funny.
That would be really good. Murray, Steve Martin, and John Candy, and even Christopher Guest and Jim Belushi, we didn't even mention him to a lesser degree, steal every scene they get. Because while this is a movie about plants, it can be straight up hammy. And then there's the music. The amazing music and lyrics by Alan Menken and the gone too soon Howard Ashman. Outside of their Disney work, which I can almost guarantee you recognize without maybe realizing it, this is undoubtedly their best stuff. The songs are ridiculously catchy, ludicrous, and yet very heartwarming. As for the ending, look, Does it match the stage musical? No. Does it reinforce the lesson that it's okay to do anything to get the girl, even if that means killing and feeding people to plants? Possibly. But there's no way that original ending could have worked, and damn it, Rick Moranis deserves to be happy. Okay, you're selling me,
Yeah,
man.
that's okay. Yeah.
Sorry to ramble, guys. To me, this is just an all-around great movie. Even if they took the music out of it, which would be a crime, the weird B-movie plot from the 1960s still proves interesting, and the technical aspects will always be a great accomplishment for its time. My modern-day rating is going to be an 8.75. Also, my prop has to be the puppet version of Audrey 2 that Seymour takes to the radio station. That's a good one.
Ooh, yeah.
Because good luck finding any one of those on Etsy for less than a few $100s. So,
Great
and I
job,
love
man.
it. And that's the best part is that he's going to bring us up a little bit. And
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I'm fine with it. So that takes us to a 7.78 on the
Nice.
grand scheme of things. That's not going to be too bad. 7.78 is going to find itself in its own spot at number 51. That is just below Who Framed Roger Rabbit, just above Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
I like that a lot.
I feel fine.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it, I suppose.
Sorry, well, the discussion's over. It is gospel, and that is it.
Yep, you're
Thank
right.
you, Michael. Appreciate it.
Yeah, great job.
Yeah.
And we hope you enjoyed the episode. Thanks for being here. Tune in next week. We are moving on to Empire Records, followed by our very first animated movie, 101 Dalmatians, the original.
Wow.
Get ready.
And if you're new to the podcast, go back this time last year. It's cold out. You need a cold vibe. You need a cold, spooky, scary movie. The Thing.
Let's go.
Let's
a
go,
fun,
dog.
That is a fun episode. If you
Yeah.
want to hear the redemption of Sean making AJ like a scary movie, it happened on this. He actually liked it.
It 100% did. I have revisited that movie as much as anything this past year, trying to get to the bottom of that movie.
Yeah.
Literally. So
I'm so proud.
don't mean to make you cry. I'm so
I'm
sorry.
so proud.
I love you. But guys, make sure you listen back to that one and get ready for the other ones upcoming. We really do appreciate you checking us out here on YouTube, watching while you're listening. We really do appreciate you checking out social media. Just search for Confused Breakfast on any social media platform at Confused Breakfast. And by the way, leave us a 5-star review. If you want to drop us a 5-star review, you can do it right now, I guess, or don't.
ConfusedBreakfast.com. You can see our merch. You can get some buttons. You can get some shirts. You can get some Audrey 2s probably there. We'll slap
think
our
we have
logo.
those, yeah.
We'll slap our logo on anything. Go to ConfusedBreakfast.com as well to see the ratings of the movies we've covered. See AJ's ratings, see my ratings, see Mike's ratings, and see the show's ratings overall. Goodbye. I love you.
Support our sponsors that directly support this podcast. That is one way to help us out. Another way is to go to patreon.com/confusedbreakfast. Get the extra perks there. Be a member. Support, sponsor this podcast directly. We are produced by the Upload Media Group in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. We got Craig on the controls. Feed me, Craig. Feed me. Learn more at uploadmediagroup.com. And we are proudly on the Cloud 10 iHeart Podcast Network. Learn more at cloud10.fm. That's it for us. Goodbye.
We are going to feed ourselves, right?
Feeding time.